Alright guys, welcome back, and I just saw the F1 movie, so let's talk about it. So I went to go see it with my friend Eva, who is a huge F1 fan, and me personally, I know pretty much nothing about F1 except that it's racing, basically. On the way to the theater, she kind of gave me like a little bit of a basic rundown, so I at least had a little bit of an understanding. I had been hearing that this was like the movie of the summer and this year's Top Gun, so going in, I had some pretty high expectations, and I gotta say, I had a blast. The best part about this movie is by far the racing sequences because they are just so well done. And I mean, I still haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, but I mean, if the flying sequences in that are as good as the racing sequences in this, I mean, I can't even imagine what that's like. Just the way they use the camera, like they'll have like different camera angles, like they'll almost have like what looks like a GoPro shot like mounted on the car, and then you'll have like the close-up of the racers, and just the way it like pans around, combined with like the amazing sound design of the cars just like ripping around the track. Like hearing that in the theater was pretty cool, accompanied by a really great score from Hans Zimmer as well. Like it really makes you feel like you're part of the race. It's really intense and gripping, to the point where I mean by the end of this movie I was on the edge of my seat. Not literally, because the theater we went to had the recliners, which are the best kind of theaters, so we were just chilling, but it was really tense. And I mean, by the time we get to that final race, I mean, I just couldn't stop smiling. This movie, in my opinion, is basically the definition of a summer blockbuster. Just a damn good time. Like, there's no, like, Oscar-worthy performances in here. I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole cast does a great job. I mean, Brad Pitt, Kerry Condon, Javier Bardem, Damson Idris, like, everyone's great in the movie. But I definitely could see this movie winning some Oscars for, like, cinematography or sound design. There's also many cameos from actual F1 racers, which is cool. Obviously, I didn't pick up on any of them, but every time one of them popped up on screen, I mean, Eva was, like, pumping her fist. So I was like, oh, I guess that's somebody. And this is a really funny movie, too, because there were definitely times where like the rest of the theater, and me and Eva included, were just like laughing out loud. So yeah, coming from someone who is very new to the F1 scene, even though I can't say after seeing this movie I'm way more interested in it than I ever was, because this movie just grips you and you get so invested. With all that said though, the story really is nothing to write home about. It's just your classic, like, old guy and young guy are competing, they don't like each other, and they have to like figure out how to work together to win in the end. Like the same story we've seen like a million times. Not that the story didn't work for me, it's just nothing really that special. The one part about the story that I didn't care for at all was just the romantic subplot between Brad Pitt and Kerry Condon. It just felt kind of forced and really unnecessary. Like, I didn't buy the relationship really at all. But you're not going to this movie for the story, you're going for the racing, and the racing is awesome. But yeah, I think I can safely say that this is probably going to be one of the biggest hits of the summer, and that's saying something because this is a really big summer for movies. I mean, in July alone, we have Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, and Fantastic Four, all of which I am very excited for. If you guys didn't know, I am on Letterboxd at NoahT36, so I mean, I only have like 3 reviews up right now. I've had it for a little while, but I've just not been keeping up with it. I'm gonna try to keep up with it more, so if you guys want to check that out, maybe see some reviews for movies that like I don't really talk about the channel, if you're interested, you can check that out. So those are my thoughts as someone who doesn't really know a whole lot about F1, so I'm gonna throw it over to Eva, who is an F1 super fan, to get her thoughts.
Hi, I'm Eva. I'm a huge Ferrari fan, as you can see. And going to this movie, I had very low expectations, especially after seeing how all the drivers reacted to it. But all in all, I like this movie. The visuals, the cinematography, the soundtrack was phenomenal. I love Tate McRae. And the racing was really just captured so beautifully. And it was so exhilarating to see the racing on the silver screen. Even if they did just use random footage. Like, hey, that's not Sonny Hayes, that is actually Martin Donnelly in 1990. But it was so amazing to see all the F1 drivers in the movie, all their cameos. Whenever Oscar Piastri bolted off of the set, that was really funny. The shot, he was just there and he was like, okay, I'm done. And anytime George Russell was on the screen, he was just like, good thing none of them are actors. But besides that, I didn't really like anything else about the movie. I will start off my review by saying Carlos Sainz was right whenever he said that the movie will not be entertaining to people who watch F1. Okay, so anyway, so this man, Sonny Hayes, he has not driven in 30 years. He's not consistently really driven in FIA regulated series like he did NASCAR and Daytona 500, but he's immediately allowed to get into an F1 car with no super license points. No, sir. And like, this is literally just happened in Spain whenever Flair Yarpix tried to drive for Lance Stroll, but he couldn't because he didn't participate in any of the sessions before the race. And Sonny quite literally gets into the car race day without even qualifying. That was super annoying too, that they never showed a quali session or any of the practices. Like, that's when you can really see how the race on Sunday might go. The racing scenes were really good. Obviously, some of those overtakes would never happen, but the FIA would have had Sonny Hayes publicly executed. He went half the season without any race bans or penalty points. Like, this man, every dollar he earned would have gone to the FIA for the fines. Carlos Sainz got fined for taking too long in the bathroom, and even got a penalty point for singing his song Smooth Operator. My God, for crying out loud. Sonny causing 3 safety cars in one session would never happen, because once every car is on new tires, now you're all bunched up behind a safety car, and you are the one at risk on those old tires. And there's literally just no way this team could have taken their cars from P22 and P21 to the podium with a couple of modifications. Haas and Aston Martin couldn't even do that in years. Like, damn, can Ferrari hire this cute lady? Which brings me to one of the things that pissed me off royally, the female representation. I was saying that she was the technical director who builds and designs the cars. People were concerned about how they're going to portray her relationship with Brad Pitt, and I get it. If it was any other movie that wasn't racing, I'd eat it up. Romance, love it, but there's no space for a romance in a movie about racing. The romance was so forced and unnecessary and so undercutting. Like, they couldn't just have Kate be a badass woman who built a badass car. No, they had to have her screw the driver. We've never had a woman engineer, and I doubt that will start now with this hanging over every successful woman's head, that they only care about love. This movie would have been a 4.5 out of 5 stars if they didn't add the romance. Then my other issue with the woman representation is the female pit stop crew member. Why'd she have to be the one to mess up the pit stop? It could have been anyone else, but they chose the only other female character to screw up. And then at the nightclub, when Joshua Pierce, who reminded me a lot of young Lewis Hamilton, who produced the film, he goes to the club the night before the race. Like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. But anyways, they were in the club and a girl comes up to him and was like, "Are you an F1 driver? Can you introduce me to Carlos Sainz?" Like, come on! Like, this is exactly how every guy treats women who likes F1. Oh, you just like it because the drivers are hot? Like, yes, the drivers are hot. But anyways, no, you like it because you enjoy to watch an intense sport. These drivers have worked so hard. Well, some of them. I'm looking at you, Lance Stroll. You are a longtime fan. You got to see these kids grow into powerful drivers, and that's why you watch the sport. If I met Esteban Ocon in a club in Vegas, I would ask about the upcoming race, not to meet Charles Leclerc. The F1 Academy is stacked with exceptional women, but it's going to be a hell of a fight getting them to F1 when they can barely make it past F3 and F2. Sure, Courtney Crone is the reserve driver for Haas, but unless Ollie Ocon gets hurt, we're never going to see her drive. And it was so amazing last year to see Ollie drive for Ferrari because he was 17, I was 17. It was like age representation. Like, someone my age is this successful. But can you imagine how it would feel to see a woman drive in a Grand Prix? I just feel like there was just so many short scenes unnecessarily driving women. Sorry for the feminist rant, that's kind of what I'm known for. But back to the racing side, since this is what the movie's about, not the stupid storylines. I won't say that's unrealistic with their crashes. Like I said earlier, they used the clip of Martin Donnelly's crash in 1990. Many cars have caught on fire. Literally last week in Austria, that you can see when this was filmed. Cars have flipped before, and I know they tried to recreate Alex Petroni's crash from F3, but they did it poorly. Here, I'll show you on my Haas V F24. So whenever Alex Petroni did it, he was in Monza, which I believe Joshua Pierce was also in Monza. It's a very dangerous track, but it's one of my favorites. He's taking the turn, and he went, woo! But Alex Petroni, there was a piece of the front wing on the track, and he hit it. He was going straight, tried to turn, the front wing was there, and he flipped up. And that's why he went flying, not because, woo! No, that's not how physics works. I think in this crash would have gone I think he would take in the turn too sharp, flip, and spun. I don't think he actually would have flew into the air. A lot of the racing sequences were very accurate. Like whenever the Apex drivers surrounded Max Verstappen, and it didn't matter who got DRS because it didn't matter what driver was first. That's literally what McLaren has done every race. And you know what? Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are leading the Drivers' Championship. It's a brilliant strategy if both of their drivers have amazing cars. Besides the obvious errors like livery changes, driver changes, looks and what conditions, no yellow or red flags for broken front wing ever, I think the race scenes were pretty accurate. The worst part was I was still rooting for Ferrari like it was an actual race because that's how it felt. I wanted to go to my F1 app and see the times the drivers were behind each other. And like, they didn't even try to show the graphics, which was stressing me out. But all in all, I did like the movie a lot. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I took away points for inaccuracies and female representation, but overall, I would go see it again. But as an F1 fan, I do have to condition myself to remember that is Hollywood-esque and not an actual race. Thank you, Noah, for letting me yap about my favorite things ever. F1 and movies.